75 to 80% of the time, when a breakup happens, it's the woman who does the dumping. That's just the facts. And a lot of the time, when a woman dumps a guy, the guy goes into no contact mode. We hear about no contact all the time. But if you're a woman, you might be wondering, what is he thinking while he's in that no contact mode? In this video, we're diving deep into the world of no contact and specifically what is going through a guy's mind while he's in no contact and what no contact really means and what the net result of doing it often is. I'll also add that a lot of the time, guys don't immediately go into no contact mode. Usually they get a little needy, a little clingy, a little desperate, a little beggy, or maybe they get angry, but they get emotional. They lose their shit. And then they realize that that's making everything worse. And then they begin to dive in deep on YouTube videos or maybe TikTok videos and other things like that, and they discover the world of no contact and they begin to implement it. So that first phase when a guy gets dumped is called the shock phase. And guys are in disbelief. Most of the time, guys don't see it coming when they get dumped. Oftentimes, the woman has had it in their mind for a while that they want to end the relationship. They begin to slowly fall out of love. They may even line up the guy's replacement maybe, but a lot of the time they wait until those feelings of love are gone or almost gone, and then they bring the hammer down. To the guy, it can be very shocking, very abrupt, seemingly out of nowhere. They had no idea that this was coming. It creates a lot of confusion, and guys are desperate for answers, which can again lead to some of that needy behavior I mentioned earlier. Once they're out of that initial shock phase, then they get into what they call the reflection stage. And this is where they really begin to realize what the hell just happened. They begin to look at the relationship more critically, and they begin to realize their own role in the demise of the relationship. They may look back and actually see clues along the way that were telling them, but they didn't see it at the time, that the relationship was winding down or not going nearly as well as maybe they thought it was. The good news is that this reflection stage often leads to guys taking ownership of the things that they did. They may have become complacent in the relationship. They may have stopped dating and courting the woman the way that she deserves to be treated. They may have gotten grouchy, or they may have been argumentative. They may have been critical, or they may have done a poor job of listening and making their woman feel heard. And all of those things can snowball and end a relationship. So then the guy discovers the no contact rule, often from somebody else's video or article, and they begin to implement it. They stop initiating contact of every kind. There's no calling, there's no texting, there's no messaging on social media. Ideally, there's no commenting or liking on social media either. They're basically pretending the woman does not exist. There's two main things that come out of the no contact rule, and one is it gives the woman the time and space that she was theoretically asking for. It gives her that time away from the guy where she's not being bombarded with communication, she's not seeing him, and it gives her the opportunity to miss him. And it also gives her the opportunity to reflect on the relationship and think about the pros and the cons and whether or not it might be worth giving it another go if the guy could change some of the things that he was doing that pushed her away. But it also gives the guy the opportunity to dig in deep in here and focus on himself and focus on becoming the best version of himself that he can be. And that could be mental, could be physical, could be emotional, or all of the above. But it gives him the opportunity to really focus in deep and not be distracted by her. I will say that during this period, each of them might be checking the other's social media accounts. And honestly, one thing that I used to do that was a little bit sneaky is I would post Facebook and Instagram stories, and then I would look to see if my ex was looking at them. Because of course, you can see the names of everybody who views your stories, not your posts, but your stories. And guess what? She looked at almost every single one of my stories. And even though I was in no contact, what that told me was that she was thinking about me and very likely missing me. and that she would eventually come back if I maintained my frame and I stayed in no contact. No contact, of course, doesn't mean you don't respond if the woman reaches out to you. So if you are the guy and you went no contact after getting dumped, if the woman reaches out, you do absolutely want to respond. Assume that she wants to see you and try and get together in person when she does reach out. Don't ignore her if she reaches out. But I will say that even in no contact, even the most stoic of guys, the guys that seemingly don't care at all, almost every guy is going to be thinking about his woman virtually the entire time he's in no contact. I know that was the case with me when I went into no contact mode with my ex, and I thought about her constantly. And again, I was posting Facebook stories kind of as bait to see if she was also thinking about me, and guess what? She was, and she did come back to me eventually. So guys are definitely thinking about the woman, even if they're not breaking no contact, and even if they are focused heavily on self-improvement. That doesn't mean they're not thinking about you, and it doesn't mean they don't care, and it doesn't mean they don't desperately want you back. It just means that they want to follow this course through to its completion to see if it has the end result that they want, which is the woman to reach out and want to rekindle things. Whether you're the guy or the girl, what has been your experience with either giving no contact or receiving it? And did it work to help reconcile your relationship? Let me know in the comments. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.